What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com. And in the last Dynasty video, we went through our Season 3 off-season. We went through all of our recruiting. We brought in the 8th class in the country, and we brought 15 players in. I'm really excited about that group and what they can do for us in the future. We've done some position changes, and today we are going to go through our preseason for Season 4. We're going to make final preparations before this killer season is going to hit. It's a very critical season. This may be the year we can win a national championship. I think we're good enough to get there, but it kind of depends. The first thing it depends on is the schedule. As you can see at the very top, I got a strength of schedule of A+. As strong as, I didn't try to make it as strong as absolute possible, but as long as it's an A+, I'm good with it. But I also wanted to have some storylines within the schedule. We're going to start off having a trip up to Syracuse. This was a request from somebody a little while ago. Since Syracuse is now in the ACC in 2022, I thought that was a good idea. Since we played Pitt last season, we're going to go up to Syracuse to kick off the season. And then we're going to have the #1 team in the country, the Texas Longhorns, come to Durham, North Carolina. I had to put them on the schedule because of last year. The game of the century against the Longhorns. It was just an amazing game, and I felt like that rivalry needed to continue, and I want to see if Texas, can get a chance of maybe beating us this time. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I would love to beat them. So we're going to take off, the #1 team in the country, and then we're going to head into our conference schedule with NC State at home. Then we go Virginia, 6th in the country. That's 3 straight home games right there. Then we head to Virginia Tech, 25th in the country. You look here, Miami is coming here, 5th in the country. Number 21, Georgia Tech. So look at this murderer's row. Incredible. You got Texas, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Miami, and Georgia Tech. If we can win a national championship getting through this schedule, then I'm pretty good at this game, I guess. We'll see if that happens, though. We get a little bit of break right in the middle of the season, and then we're going to head back out on the road, taking on Wake Forest and heading to Clemson before we take a conference break and have the LSU Tigers, the 11th best team in the country, coming to Durham, North Carolina. We're going to finish the conference season with North Carolina coming here, and the regular season will end with a trip to Madison, Wisconsin. This little slot didn't give me a whole lot of selection to choose from, but I wanted to take on another ranked team of some sort, and I thought this was a good one. It's been a long time since I played Wisconsin, let alone playing in that stadium, so I'm really excited about that. So an A+ schedule, I think I counted 7 ranked games, so hopefully that's tough enough for people. Let's check out redshirting players. I've already went ahead and redshirted some guys, but we're going to go through each group and see what changes I've made. Now, when it comes to quarterback, we only got one guy we can redshirt, and that's Gates, and we're not going to do that. He's our starting quarterback. You go to halfback. We picked up a couple new freshman 5-star players. Michael Hill was one of them. I'm going to redshirt him. And Ty Perro, this is one of our channel members. This is his name, and really cool to see his name in there. And it's a great name, by the way, so kudos to that. But we're going to not redshirt him, mainly because I want a little thunder and lightning in my run game. Pretty much what we've had the last couple of seasons with Horton and Drummer. Horton and Miranda are power running backs. Horton is obviously going to do everything for us in the run game, at least the majority of it. But I like the idea of having Miranda doing maybe a little more goal line stuff because he's pretty strong, 74 in the strength. He's not very fast at all, so he's definitely a downhill runner. But I need some speed to go along with those two guys. So I thought it was a good idea to have Perro come in and help us out a little bit. So when it comes to our formation subs, I may have 1 or 2 formations where he is going to be in there just so I can get him on the outside a little bit. And you look at the catch rating, Horton has got the best of the bunch. So Horton and Perro can catch the ball a little bit, so I'm not too worried about trying to get them to fit with any passing plays that have a halfback getting the ball. The rest of the guys, I can't redshirt, so that's a pretty good setup there at halfback. Fullback, now I have an opportunity to redshirt somebody, and that is Anthony Vincent. I'm not going to do that because if you notice here, we got a senior, we got a freshman, and we got a sophomore. If I redshirt him, we're going to end up with 2 sophomores. I kind of like the idea of having 1 per class. As you see up the very top, we got 1 freshman, 1 sophomore, 1 senior. I like that. I want to separate Archie and Vincent by 1 year. So I'm going to leave that as is. But Archie's going to back up Ball. This is Ball's final season. I would love to give him the ball a little bit more, but, we got so much talent at halfback, it's going to be hard, especially for me to remember trying to get him in the end zone in a couple different ways, but I'll try not to forget that, especially with him being a senior. Now let's talk about wide receivers. We finally got a good little group here. Now they're very young. You look at the top. 5 freshmen, 1 sophomore, a couple of juniors, and a senior. Now, Myrick is going to be on the right side. He's our Z receiver. Malcolm Peterson, this is another JUCO kid that I'm starting to get a little excited about some of these JUCO kids. We've had Buttles as our slot receiver for a couple of seasons. He's done an amazing job. And now we got this JUCO player, Malcolm Peterson, 6'5", 204, 95 speed, and has 84 catch. This kid looks like Randy Moss made over. And what do you know? He's got number 88 for the jersey number. Pretty cool. So he's going to be our slot receiver. I'm going to trust him there because I like to have a little extra speed on the slot. And Aaron Riley, he is our X receiver. He's going to be on the left side. So those are our big 3 right there. And then John Redd, if anybody remembers this kid, really skinny player, but look at his speed, 97 speed. We're going to see him in special teams some this season. So he's going to be our number 4 guy. Then the rest, we have a bunch of freshmen. Dustin McCoy, Akindona, and Culberson. We don't really need them this season. We're going to redshirt all of them. And Marcelin, we can't redshirt him, but that only leaves 5. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I prefer to have 6 wide receivers active at all times. So I decided not to redshirt James Moss. We can redshirt him probably next season if needed. But I always wanted to keep 6, especially in this offense where over half of our formations are at least 3 wide. Tight end, we have Jason Parker. He started to come along a little bit at the end of the second or last season. I thought he'd done a really good job towards the end, and he made a really good jump in his rating. He's now 84 overall. He's still not the fastest, but look at his catch, 84. That's insane for a tight end. And the true freshman, Kyle Young, is now Blaine Gay. This is another one of my channel members. I got his name in there, so I'm really excited to see him. Now, I'm not going to redshirt him. We're going to do a couple double tight end things. I only got 1-2 tight end formation, but we can do maybe another sub package somewhere where we can get him in there a couple more times as well. But I didn't want to redshirt him because we still need some run blocking help at the very least. But I'm really excited about both of these kids. Those are definitely the 2 tallest tight ends I've ever had together at once. That's pretty cool. Tackle, we're starting to get a little bit of more talent coming in. Philip Warren has been a great right tackle for us. He's not going to redshirt. Same with Lawrence. Trayvon Clements, this used to be Corey Clements, is another channel member, had his name changed to Trayvon. We're going to redshirt him. We won't need him. And we got backup Sherman and Williamson. I always like to have 4 active tackles. Guards, 80 and 80. I always like to keep 4. And since we only have 4, I don't really need to redshirt anybody. You look at the center, don't have to do anything here. Defensive end, I'm not going to redshirt Nichols. He's our starting left end. But Buttles and Blanks, those are the 2 middle linebackers that move down to defensive end. Those are our right ends. So in this scenario, I really have nobody to redshirt except for Nichols, but I don't want to do that. He's too talented. Defensive tackle, I like to keep 4 active, so I want to have my top 4 going on there. And this is the one kid that I took a chance on. I didn't really expect much, but I'm glad at least he's humongous. 6'3", 325. He's a little tougher to move around, but we're definitely going to redshirt him. Outside linebacker, we only got 1 guy we can redshirt, and we're not going to do that. He's arguably our best defensive player, and that is Jimmy McCoy. He's having a great career here at Duke. Middle linebacker, I decided to redshirt Ronaldo Mason. This was another JUCO. He split the time with Walker last season. Mason was our nickel middle linebacker, and Walker was our 4-3 guy. But this gives me a good opportunity to redshirt Mason. I'm perfectly fine with that. And we're going to have everybody coming back next season. I think between Mason and Williams, there's not a whole lot of difference. And I'm really excited about this kid, Steve Williams. I think he's going to be a really good linebacker for us. Very good chance he'll be our starting middle linebacker in about 2 years. Corner, we picked up a couple of extra bodies, Kenneth Buchanan and Chad Todd. We're going to redshirt both of them. Now, I guess Chad Todd was already on the roster, so I could be dead wrong on that. We got so many players I can't keep up with them. But we're going to redshirt Todd. We really don't need him. I only need about 4 active corners, and those are these guys right here. Butler and Gunner will be our starting cornerbacks until they leave. And then we got good options at nickelback with Izzard and Harrell. Going to be Izzard more than likely. I'm glad he's got some speed there. We like the blitz from that spot. Free safety. This is another opportunity where I could have redshirted, but I don't want to. If I did, we would have two free safeties that are like the same class. It's really no different than the fullback situation, so I don't mind leaving it as this. And because Ashley Brown's going to be our starting at free safety, but Allen backing him up, I'm perfectly okay with that. Strong safety, we only had one guy we could redshirt, and that's Daniel Gant. That was the athlete that we picked up who could play a bunch of different positions, but we put him here at strong safety. It's so hard for me to find a lot of speed at this position. That's why I moved him here. We're really excited about his future, but it's just not going to be this season. And we didn't have to do anything at kicker nor a punter in terms of redshirting. Let's check out the depth chart really quickly. Gates is our starting quarterback, and you got Horton as our starting halfback with Pero and Miranda backing him up. At fullback, you got Tim Ball. Then you go to wide receiver, Riley, Myrick, and Peterson. Tight end, Parker's still going to be our number one guy. He needs to be. He's just got the better, he's just more talented than the freshman at the moment. You look at our offensive line, Steve Lawrence. I'm super excited about this kid. I didn't really talk about him in the red shirt department, but getting a three-star kid who's 80 overall, we needed this in the worst way. He's probably our most important pickup of the entire recruiting class, and he was one of our lowest rated. Who would have thunk it? So he's our starting left tackle. And left guard, we got Jonathan Terry, redshirt senior. You go to center, Simpson at 82. He had a really big jump in training. Good to see that. Then you got right guard, Michael Jackson. Hopefully he'll stay healthy this year. Then our right tackle, our best offensive tackle, or offensive lineman, I should say, in Phillip Warren. You go to defensive line, you got Nichols and you got Buttles on the edge. Of course, Buttles and Blank still go back and forth a lot because defensive ends and tackles tend to wear out a little bit easily in this game. Defensive tackle, Vince, I'm not going to say his name, but he's been a starter for us for, 4 straight seasons. He's been here for a long time. And you got Poland and Respris. We got a good little group right here, and I'm doing a pretty decent job of bringing in a new defensive tackle every season. Linebackers, you got Thornton, Walker, and then McCoy. Now, go back to left outside linebacker. This was another tough choice. Go to Thornton or McKinney. Both of them got the same awareness, the same speed. Thornton is much stronger, but in terms of tackles, McKinney's just a little bit better. Now, some would think, hey, just go ahead and start the redshirt freshman. I think Thornton has played really well for us. He's been a starter for us for the last couple seasons. I don't mind having him starting there. So over at corner, Butler and Gunn, no exception there. Then you go to free safety, Ashley Brown. This is the transfer from Penn State. I'm really excited about him. This is the guy I'm going to control pretty much all season. And at strong safety, Aaron Gallagher. This was another situation where I could have went back and forth, him or A. Darko, but I decided to go with Gallagher here. And I think, was it the tackles that were better? It was something. I may have missed. His jump is better. I think that was it. Just a much better jump. We need some guys back there who can really fly, jump high, and knock down passes. Then you got kicker, starters at Surgan. Then we got at punter, Danny Hood. Now we can check out our the captains. Yeah, the captains. You're going to look at the captains here, and it's going to be Vince Ogabasi. I may have said that correctly. I hope I did. Our defensive tackle, he is our defensive captain. And then you got Gates Jr. is our offensive captain. Cool to see that. Let's check out Athlon Sports, the preseason magazine. We're starting off with the preseason polls, and they have us number 9 in the country. We went from B- to B+ in one season. That one recruiting class really helped, and it also helped moving a couple of those linebackers down the defensive end, really get that big jump. But you see a defense, A-. Our defense is getting better and better, and our offense, while still very young, is getting better as well. So cool to see us at 9th in the country, and then there's a bunch of other teams. I mean, look, Florida State's not even on our schedule, but they are in the conference. And then in Maryland, the ACC, it's just beyond loaded. Then you go over to the Heisman Watch, and you have Horton made the top 5. Now, it just comes down to if he is going to get a lot of touchdowns and such. I don't try to force it, but he's going to get plenty of carries. Really no different than what we saw last season. And you look back at what he's done his first 2 seasons, it just gets a little bit better and better. So hopefully that'll continue to hold on. Then you go to preseason All-Americans. Horton is your first teamer. Do we have anybody else? I'm only going to pay attention to our players here. First team, just Horton. Look at second team. I'm trying to think. McCoy maybe on here. Looks like he's not. Then you go over to the All-ACC team, first team, Horton. Then you have, he may be our only first teamer. No, we got Jimmy McCoy. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Then we got our kicker, Joe Surgan. A lot of that has to do with extra points. We don't kick a lot of field goals, but it's cool to see him on there. Then you go to second team. Do we have anybody on here? Yes, we do. Blake Butler. Good to see that. Sophomore. And those are your All-Americans and All-Conference players. Let's go to Conference Outlook. We are third in the conference behind Miami and Virginia, but this is all a close race. I mean, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 ranked teams in the ACC. You go over to the Coastal, and look at that. The top 3 teams in the conference are in the same division. So the other division, you've lucked out. But this is just a murderer's row, and I'm excited to be in here. It just makes it a lot more fun and a lot more challenging. And toughest places to play, this has no effect on us. We will never get our stadium on here. I think this changes over time, but I've never paid enough attention to it to see if it does. I think I'm ready to start recruiting. So let's go ahead into in-season recruiting, and let's talk about a couple of things. Let's look at our roster. We got 60 players coming back. If all else, if nothing changes, that means we only got 10 spots to fill. It's very similar to what we went through last season, except we had a few extra transfers wanted to leave, and that opened up a few spots. But in this case, we don't need many players at all, so we're going to dump a lot of more points into training in the offseason. But this also means, in terms of in-season recruiting, I'm only going to go after 2, maybe 3 guys, and that's it. We're going to hit those guys really hard, and then we'll spend the rest of our recruiting time in the offseason. Now, what's even more interesting is you see nothing in orange. Anything you see in orange is a position group where it says you need to put somebody there, or otherwise we're going to put a walk-on there. This is the first time in a very long time where I have had a depth chart that looks really good heading into the next season, where I technically don't need any other players. So needless to say, I think my recruiting has gone really well, and I think our distribution of players per position has gone well to boot. So now let's talk about what we do need. We can go back and look at this, and you see we got a lot of B- ratings across the board. But what I want to focus on is first offensive line. We still need to get as good as players as we can here. Guard especially. I always like to have a minimum of 4, so we're going to find the best guard we can get out there. And I'll probably go after another tackle. There's a good chance Warren, he's a junior, so he's going to be with us for 2 more seasons. I'd like to get somebody else ready by their redshirt freshman year to take that right tackle spot. So it looks like Lawrence has got that left tackle spot locked down for the next 3 to 4 years at least. The other things I may go after, I think it's almost time to go after another outside linebacker, possibly to redshirt, get them ready. So I may look at something there. We're good at corner. We're good at safety, both at free and strong. We got plenty of bodies there. I mean, I can look for some more, but I mean, free safety, maybe we may get somebody there, but we just got a lot of bodies. As you could tell, we don't really need anything, which is a good problem to have. So I'm still going to go after 12 guys. We got 12 scholarships available, so let's just look here and see what we can find. First of all, I'm not really worried about just going at the pipeline kids. I'm still going to go after pipeline kids, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is I'm not going to go through each pipeline and then look at the list and see what we're dealing with. I'm going to go by position. It's going to be just a little bit quicker because I know which 3 to 4 positions I really want to target during this season. First thing I want to go to is guard. I want to find the best guard that I can that fits what we are trying to do. Biggest thing I look for is the bench press and the squat. A guard, I always want a humongous dude that can really push people. If your guards can't push anybody, your run game suffers tremendously. So you notice the top 5 guys there all have a squat of 690. That's a pretty good standard barrier. If you can find somebody even better than that, by all means, go after it. So what we're going to do is keep going, and I'm just going to look, like, for example, Robert Madison. Now, this is a pipeline kid. California is still a pipeline, so I don't mind keeping it as such. But look how big he is. 6'3", 340 pounds, 705 on the squat, 530 on the bench, and his awareness is good enough. I'll accept a B. And this is the ideal kid at guard. I've never seen a better guard like that before. I'm sure I have, but it's been a very long time. I've never seen such a good stat sheet before or measurables for a guard. So we're going to definitely go after him. Now, we can look at some other ones, but right now I'm really focusing on squat, see if anybody out there I could be missing. I'm not really seeing it. Like, just out of the blue, somebody's got a 680 squat at a 3-star, but he's got a C+ awareness. We're not going to go after him. I may go after one more guard just in case. We're going to go after one of those guys that's got like a 690 squat, though. So one of these guys, so let's just look here. We got another California kid. I don't like his size, 6'5", 275. All these guys are really small, so I'm not a big fan of any of those. Even though they're all talented, don't get me wrong. I really want some beef up there. Like, I'd rather take this kid, to be honest. He's out of Missouri, so I'm probably not going to bother. I may take a chance on this kid, 6'5", 275. His bench and squat are good enough. I just wish he was a little bit heavier, but that's not the most devastating thing. So he may be my other one that I'll go after just because he's close. So those two are the two guards that we will go after. Next thing I was going to look at is probably tackle. And let's find a tackle that is just humongous and is strong. Pretty much no different what we're looking for at guard. Like, for example, here's a kid out of Virginia. I've been wanting to try to make Virginia a pipeline just because it's real close to us. And I love this kid's name, Sergey Long, 6'5", 315, 715 on the squat, 495 on the bench, 8+ awareness. Yes, we're going to go after him. Let's look at a few more. I just want to see if anybody else is over 700 on the squat before we don't bother with the rest of these. You never know with some of these 3-star kids. You may find one that just really has the skills that you're looking for. You just got to keep looking to see if you may luck out. And I'm not seeing it, but I'm glad I at least looked. So we're going to go up to the very top again. I'm going to go after one more tackle. We're going to go after one of these guys that's got the 690, 695 range. Kid out of California, 6'3", 326, 5-star, arguably the best tackle in the country. Him being a pipeline, I might as well go, give him a shot. Here's another California kid that looks pretty much the same. Not as heavy. Here's a Florida kid, 490, 690. I really like this kid, Sylvester Harwell. I actually wouldn't mind going after him. I prefer to have Florida as a pipeline more than California. I think I'm going to go after him. I think he fits everything that what we want. So that's the other tackle that I'll go after, and I'll stay there. Center, we can look at somebody here. It doesn't hurt to load up if you can at center. It's another pivotal offensive line position. 655 on the squat. I'm just looking. 670 seems to be a good max for a lot of these kids. Virginia kids, 655 A+, 6'7", 277. That's super tall for a center. 6 feet 290, 655 on the squat. Then we're getting down to the 3-star kids. We can look. I mean, you never know. Like this kid right here. Oh, okay. This is what I'm looking at right here. The perfect example. Josh Session, Corbin, Kentucky. That's right up the road from where I live. Look at his bench. Bigger, heavier than Mose. Look at his squat, 670. He looks like a 5-star player, and he's really smart. So I think I'm going to take a chance on him. I mean, 500, 670. Do we find another combo better than that? I am not seeing it. He is arguably the best center on this list, and he's at the very bottom. Who would have thunk it? That's why you look through all these. You just never know what you may find. But I'll just go after one. We're kind of okay at center. So now we got, 7 spots left to fill? Let's go to... We could check defensive tackle. I'm always like to go after at least one a season. If I can find a behemoth, that'd be great. Like 6'2", 300-pounder, Lamar Phillips, Florida kid, B awareness. I like this one. I'm going to wait and just... 640, not the strongest, but it's not terrible either. 6'2", 289. This kid is even better. Local kid, Mike Burns. I wish he was a little bit heavier, but 289 is doable. I may just go ahead and put the scholarship on him. The rest of these, I'm just going to make sure really quickly. Got to watch out for their awareness as well. Go down to the very bottom. Here's a 640 that's pretty good out of Louisiana, but he's not smart enough for our program. 640, another good decent squat, but a C+. So I'm okay just going after that one defensive tackle. Okay, outside linebacker was the one that I was really wanting to pay attention to. What I'm looking for here is speed and smarts. Guys who can come off the edge, who can defend slot receivers and such. Kid out of Oklahoma, I would love to go after him, but he doesn't fit what we're trying to do, just in terms of mainly location. California kid, C+, we're not going to bother. And look at all the awarenesses. Like, here's one kid out of Hawaii, 6'3", 218. A little too far out. Kid out of Canada. Interesting enough. Here's an A at Pennsylvania, A minus California, 478. That's super slow. Can't do it. Here's a couple: Michigan, New Jersey, South Carolina, 465, 3. I'm okay with a lot of this. 465 is like, if I'm not mistaken, like a 76 speed. Probably, I would love to have it a little be faster. So I don't think I'm going to go after any of these kids. I'm not really excited about any of them outside of the ones we saw up top here. And both of them were outside of our range. Like David Cobb's out of Oklahoma. Steve Williams is an Oklahoma linebacker, or backup middle linebacker. So, I mean, I don't mind going after this kid. My preference is probably this kid, Adam Pierce. He looks, 4'4", 6'5", 234. That is like a Lawrence Taylor type of linebacker. Let's just go ahead and put one on him. Why not? Next up, we got 5 spots left. And I need to be careful here. Let's go corner. We don't really need anybody here. Like this kid right here, Travis Oliver, would be really great. But if you look at our corners, we're fine. We just got bodies there. Our 2 starters are sophomores. They're going to be here for at least 2 more seasons. I don't really need anybody here. I'd love to go after somebody, but it's just not a need, so I'm not going to bother. Free safety, here's what we want to pay attention to. So David Roberts, look where he's from, Pinehurst, North Carolina, local kid, 4.39. Really hard to find anybody faster at free safety than the 4.39. Here's a California kid. I got to have speed and some height. 4.35 is pretty good out of Washington. But it looks like the ideal fit for us is the kid at the very top, the local product, A awareness, 6'2", 201. He's a perfect fit for what we want. If we have any chance of getting him, I'm going to prioritize this kid. So we'll put a scholarship on him. Strong safety, I'm not going to bother. We got just plenty of guys here. You look, we got 2 freshmen and a sophomore. I don't need any more, although this kid would be fun to have, Alan Reddick. Quarterback, I need to start thinking about finding a cerebral stud here. If you notice, Gates is a junior. We got decent bodies back there, but I wouldn't mind going after an amazing guy. I want to take a chance on one that we may look at that may have a good arm, that may also have some decent legs as well. We're doing just fine with pocket passers, but if I can find a dual threat guy, I'd be happy with that as well. So let's look at some speed, some 40 times. Wade Brigham, Tennessee Pipeline, 6'3", 205, A awareness. Yes, I hope he can at least throw halfway decent. If his accuracy is at least a B at worst, then I'm definitely going to go all in on this kid. 4.48, that would be incredible to have. I'm just going to go after the one. I can go after other ones. The problem is, like this kid right here, I'd love to have this kid. I love having lefty quarterbacks. They're hard to find, but he's a C+ awareness. I can't do it. Oh, look at this, another lefty. It looks like it's the exact same player, and it is. If anybody knows 06 well enough, they use a lot of the same templates for players. You look at this kid, 6'2", 195, 4.65. Jesse Manning, he looks exact same. He's got the same hair, same height, same weight, same bench, same squat, same field awareness. It's the exact same type of player. They can't make everybody super unique. I kind of understand why they went with that route. The rest of these, C- on the 4.65. 4.65 C-. So I think that's the only quarterback I'm going to go after is the Brigham kid, and we'll see if it works out or not. Hopefully he's got a good enough arm. So we got 3 spots left. We're not going after any halfbacks. We're loaded here. Fullback, we're fine here. Wide receiver, we're loaded. Tight end, technically we have, 3 on the... Yeah, we got, and they're all really young. I think I'm actually going to stop here. I do not have to use up all 12 of my scholarships. I just don't feel like we need to. We can, but I just really don't want to bother. So I don't mind just going after 9 guys instead of 12. Again, I'm only going to go after 2, maybe 3 players, so I don't need to max out all 12 of my scholarships. So let's look at the 9 players that we're going after and pick 2 or 3 that really fit what we're trying to do and just go after them really hard. Starting off with guard Lonnie Lowe, the North Carolina kid. Looks like he really wants to come here. Now, I want to quickly look for positive pitches. That's an easy sign that we got a good chance of getting these kids. And even if we don't find one, it's no big deal because we're going to dump so many points in these players. It's probably not going to make a difference. Now, I didn't see one positive pitch. I didn't see a negative pitch. So we pretty much have free reign over which of these kids we want to go after. We definitely need to go get a guard. It looks like the best guard on here is Lonnie Lowe. 465, 690 local kid. I wish he was just a little bit heavier. Like, I would prefer to get this kid right here out of California. And we're at the top of his list. You can tell he's just better in every way. He's just bigger. He's stronger. I think I'm going to dump my points on him instead. North Carolina will never go away as a pipeline because that's our home state. Or own pipeline. So let's go 33 for now. I'll go after 3. I'm okay with that. Let's go up to the very top again. So we're not going to bother with low. Sergey Long, Virginia. I would like to go after this kid. We're not going to put points on him yet. Let's just keep looking at some other guys first. Free safety, David Roberts. This is a future starting free safety for sure. He just fits the part, but let's just wait for a minute. Tackle, Sylvester Harwell. This is the Florida kid. 490, 690, or 495, 715. I'd rather go after the tackle, to be honest, that guy, Long, than Harwell. So we may go after Long instead, but we're going to wait for a minute. Adam Pears. This is the outside linebacker from Michigan. I'm kind of reaching on this kid just because he's just kind of far away. But we got a decent chance of going after him, and he would be just an ideal fit, an outside linebacker. He could probably play defensive end somewhere down the line. We'll look at that later. So this is the quarterback we was taking a chance on. I was just going to guess, see how he would do. But his accuracy is a D+. As you know, that's not good enough for me, so we can't go after him. We got a few guys left. We got a defensive tackle, Mike Burns, North Carolina kid. I would love to go after him, but he's not a huge need, so I'm okay with not going after him this cycle. And the right guard, Madison, we already got points on him. So it's the center, Josh Session. He just looks the part. I would love to have him, but it's technically not a big need. I mean kind of is, kind of sort of, but we got bigger fish to fry, so I am going to wait, and we're going to dump our points on Long. I'm thinking offensive line. I think that's our most important position at the moment. And then it's either going to be Roberts or Pears. The other guys I feel like I really didn't need to go after, so I can go after... Do I need a free safety or an outside linebacker? If you look at our situation here, we got... 3 outside linebacker. I think my preference is to go after an outside linebacker. I think I'm okay with that. Let's just do that instead. So I'm going to go ahead and... no, let's do the local kid. I don't mind doing that. No offense to Pears. I'm sure he'll be great somewhere down the line. But I don't mind going after the free safety. So we'll do that. And those will be the 3 guys we'll go after. I'm perfectly okay with it. Sergey Long, Roberts, and Madison of the guard. We get all 3 of those. That'll be a good base for the next recruiting class coming up. Okay, in our next video, we got Syracuse to kick off the season. They're C+ overall. We should have no problem here. You just never know, though. We need to play well ourselves, but I can't wait to get the season started. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.